Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at GCNlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Here we go. You now set correctly to USAPrepares.com. We're delighted you're here. And we broadcast 2 hours daily, Monday through Friday, from high atop the Missouri Ozark Mountains. If you'd like to call in and talk to Dr. Richard Allen Miller today, we'll pay for the call, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933. And you're listening to Sonny Skidmore's favorite national broadcast on KLID in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. I'm Vincent Finelli. Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us. Welcome, Rick.
Good morning, Vincent. I need to do some quick credits. Scott David, thank you for the music. Grace, Julie says hi and we miss you. And Ed Marvini, thank you for helping me get those uploads going. Joey, as always, just the weird shit he sends me every day. No wonder I'm so grumpy all the time nowadays.
I haven't had a chance to talk to the team in about a month, because I'm still recovering. And
Janet Randall forgot to say something. Yeah. Thank you, Janet, for sending me that menu from the past.
Yeah, I got a copy of that as well. Rick, I've noticed that that we have puddles here when it rains, and we've had a lot of rain. And I've noticed that there are these algae blooms in the puddles. And I've noticed that, like a dip in the driveway where water just collects. It's a stone driveway, so it's not paved. It's just crushed limestone. And water will sit there, and then the algae will develop and start growing, and you'll see bubbles, and there's biological activity in the puddles. There's this thick green mat of algae on the ponds surrounding our farm, and the fish are dying. And to me, Rick, I'm thinking it's got to be coming from the sky, because we've had puddles. In the 1970s, we've had puddles, and they didn't have algae growing in them, and you didn't see bubbles like fermentation in these puddles. We even have these large, let's say 5-gallon buckets with soil in them, and we've pulled out the plants that were growing in them because they're out of season, and so the buckets have dirt in them. They fill up with some water, and then now they're starting to ferment and bubble. What I'm saying is, I don't think this is normal. I'm seeing more mold, more algae, more. How do you explain a puddle having biological activity in it? How does that happen when there's not material for life to exist?
Well, like the Great Lakes that are experiencing the algae because of the global warming, the temperatures on Earth have changed massively across the various continents. That's most likely due to a pole shift, a literal pole shift, not a magnetic one, a literal pole shift, and the fact that the orbit of Earth is changing. Why is the orbit of Earth changing? It's right now 3 degrees from where it was, and if it continues, we will experience an orbit that will include Venus and Mars, which is 100 below Fahrenheit on Mars and 240 on Earth. That means that water will boil in some places, like Yellowstone. Now, it's happening right now. The Earth is going through some changes. It does this periodically because of some variables that we are either not aware of or are being not given disclosure. I think there are people that do know because they're certainly acting very strange around people like me that are trying to vet what might possibly be the cause. There is no question that it's an outside influence because the only thing that really affects the Earth is our sun. Man can, do global warming and things, but it is a pittance in comparison to what the sun will do. And the sun is doing it. And if you watch Suspicious Observers or Space Weather or any of the other resources that are available to us, it's all very, very clean and straightforward. We are going through orbital changes, we have a pole shift, and shortly there will be continental changes, including Yellowstone. So it's something to be aware of. It's happening, and it can or not necessarily be an opportunity. My approach, I've been writing on time travel and now have a physics description of what happens at the moment of and just after the moment of death. And I can tell you what physics says is happening. Doesn't mean it's right, but it's a physics explanation of what happens at that moment. And it seemingly is consistent with Kubler-Ross and the woman I studied with, and then people I've spent time with in the jungles like Eben Alexander and others on the proof of heaven. I know that I don't know. I am a physicist trying to figure it out from that point of view, which makes my goal doubly hard because I'm actually literally becoming enlightened. I don't know how to explain that other than I feel the wonder of something. And we have an opportunity in front of us. People like Zen Gardner are very clear about this and the possibilities. What it all means, I'm not certain yet. That's my goal, is to determine what's going on. In terms of global temperatures, just in recent days, I've posted on Facebook the terrible things that happened in Baltimore and other things like that, where they got a month's rain in 1 hour. And people died. This is going to be happening more and more frequently because of the pole shift and the orbital change that we're currently enjoying. And we may very soon begin to see very strange weather. And if you don't think that's going to affect business and money and the banking systems and all the other infrastructures, I'm not as concerned about NRAPs anymore and the military. Hillary Clinton is the thing that I don't get. I did an interview with Melbourne yesterday, and they wanted to know what's going on in the United States, and I just ran it down the way I see it. Our country has been hijacked by a bunch of criminals or egomaniacs, and they're all creepy people that may or not even be human. I don't know. What I do know is this is, we should have a choice of candidates, not voting for somebody because we don't want somebody else in. That's crazy. And the Republican and Democratic parties are in shambles. Bye-bye. My girlfriend just said wave goodbye. So I don't know anybody that supports either Clinton or Trump. Now, if that's the case, how does that work that those are our candidate choices? And on a local level, I'm noticing that my girlfriend just bought a new home and has taxes for the jail that was not approved in a recent vote, yet it's on her bill. How does that work? It's a bunch of judicial system is in shambles. It's not a judicial system as anything I know anymore. The people in charge of downtown Grants Pass are criminals. I don't get it. I don't understand how this could be happening, and I'm saying so to the world. It's time that everybody realizes this is no longer the country that we supported, and it's no longer the America that I believed in years and years ago when I was military. It's all wrong. And and nobody else is actually coming out and saying it in so many words except conspiracists. Have you noticed how many more there are of us now and now? Everybody's noticing, but, I'm going to vote for Trump because I don't want Clinton in. Why would you have to vote against somebody?
Rick, it's been like that for a long time. It's been a long time that we have had that. I remember in Virginia when they had the electronic voting machines back in the I'd say late 90s. I remember standing in line and the voting machines were ahead of us, maybe like 20, 30 feet in a gymnasium, kind of a room. And I remember standing there and it was my turn and I huffed and I puffed literally. I made a big scene of it and I held my nose and I, took a deep breath, held my nose and I ran over to the voting machine. And when I came back, I exhaled and I said, "Wow, that really stinks. That really stinks. We have to vote for the evil of two lessers." That's what we have to do. Rick, we've got Al in Missouri. Welcome, Al. You're on with Rick Miller.
Good morning, fellas.
I need more volume.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, can you speak up a little bit, Al, please?
Dr. Miller.
I can't hear him, Vincent.
Al, speak up a little bit more, please.
Yes, sir. I'm calling to ask about shungite.
Shungites, yes. Oh, you want to know about it? Well, it's I've written a paper on that. It was published in Nexus magazine. Shungite is a special form of carbon that exists in nature and is, in its structure, possibly as much as 100 times stronger than diamond. They're going to be making the space elevator out of this substance. It's found in nature. In Russia, it's called shungite. It's basically 60 carbon atoms that bond together and form a ball, or what's known as a buckyball. There's another form at 120 molecules. It takes a specific amount, and then you have a special kind of a bond that forms in a ball.
Rick, hold that thought. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from ironedison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of ironedison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our ironedison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at ironedison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom106.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 106.com. Go to freedom106.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom106.com.
Can your vitamin supplements positively affect your blood in 5 minutes? Protovite can. Protovite is a genuine breakthrough liquid daily nutrition that delivers quality ingredients into your blood in less than 5 minutes. Scientifically proven and backed by clinical studies, Protovite supports energy, vitality, and optimal health. Watch our 2-minute live blood cell video and see for yourself at vninc.com/prohealth. That's vninc.com/prohealth.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
In these uncertain times, it makes sense to have a sustainable backup method to cook food and boil water. If your current plan includes using a fuel-burning stove or cooking over an open fire, then there's a much better way. The Minuteman Rocket Stove is a biomass-burning cooking stove that only requires small quantities of sticks and twigs for fuel. The Minuteman Stove is easy to use, smokeless, portable, powerful, and sustainable. For the finest in survival cooking stoves and fire starters made right here in the USA, go to MinutemanStove.com. That's MinutemanStove.com.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us, and we're talking about shungite, and the term was originally used in 1879 to describe a mineraloid with more than 98% carbon. Al's with us in Missouri, and Rick, please continue.
Well, when this buckyball, the carbon atom is 1.4 nanometers apart from each other, which allows a space between the bonding to allow a single molecule of water to be placed inside that ball. When it is exclusion zone water, H3O2, it forms a type of super, what do you call it? That bioremediates. What is the word I'm looking for now? It's a type of. I'm losing the word. I can't find the word. It's right there, and I can't find it. It's a type of. It will lap. It will attach because of the electrostatic fields that it sets. It will attach itself as an antioxidant. That's what I'm looking for. It's an antioxidant, and it forms long nanotubes that wrap themselves around toxins. And so to use the shungite as a filtering process in your body is exceptional, beyond anything that we've really ever known. Now, filtering water using Berkey or Brita is approximately the same, but putting it inside your body to filter the water that's inside your body does even more. What they discovered was that instead of using exclusion zone water, if you put deuterium inside that molecule, now you had what we call a cold fusion neutron bomb. It was a neutron fullerene fusion bomb and can be ignited using Lockheed's new teleportation laser that requires no encryption. And the strength of the bond was able to contain the explosion inside, which means that you now had a bomb that had the precision of 1.4 nanometers. That's unbelievable. And there is high likelihood that this weapon has been deployed in numerous places, including Gaza and Golan Heights. It is possibly a precursor one that was used at 9/11 when the melting of steel beams were observed on Building 7. Buildings like that, steel doesn't vaporize except in the presence of a plasma. And so this could be as a nanocarbon fiber put inside bicycles, inside aircraft, and then ignited, leaving no forensics. Now, that's the weapon of choice being used now because it is a tactical nuke. And it's a neutron bomb, which means that the explosion only destroys certain kinds of things and not other things, leaving the assets behind. I don't know what's really going on because I'm out of those loops and I'm an outsider looking in and connecting dots as best as I can. I make mistakes and I don't know what I'm doing. And I certainly don't have enough disclosure. But if you're to drink fullerene waters, that's what you're talking about, Shungites. That is possibly how you're going to get rid of this crappy stuff that's in our atmosphere that Vincent's concerned about. Now, interestingly, in Grants Pass, we have not had any geoengineering presence in possibly a week. And yet, I'm waking up with terrible pain in my jaw because of snoring and dehydration. So they may now have a new way of deploying nanofibers into the atmosphere that you can't see by aircraft flying overhead or not. I don't know. What I do know is I'm waking up dehydrated. I'm looking at all the trees around me, and every single tree is experiencing some form of dehydration of sorts. The algae that Vincent is talking about is now, flooding the Great Lake region and our oceans and killing fish and interfering with fishing and water trade.
Hold that thought, Rick. Hold that thought. Al, did you want to hold?
I'll hold. Yes, please.
Okay.
Attention backpackers on a budget. Why spend $80 to $300 to pump clean survival water? Introducing the Viva Water Pump Kit from Viva Outdoor Products. Super easy to use and super lightweight at only 6.5 ounces, the Viva Water Pump Kit provides high flow rate at 1 ounce per stroke, can be one-hand pumped, and is dependable and affordable at only $24.99, filter not included. Get your Viva Water Pump Kit at viba-odp.com from Viva Outdoor Products.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Have you ever thought you'd like to flip houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? Are you ready to be your own boss so you can start living the good life? Hi, I'm Preston Ely. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity turned off 9 times, but I figured out a way to quit my job and find financial freedom in real estate. For a limited time, I want to send you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It shows you how to copy exactly what I did so you can make money from the comfort of your own home without even doing any manual labor. I've already given away 5,000 books and they're going fast. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-958-9859. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. It's short, fun to read, easy to understand, and awesome. To find out how to get your free book while supplies last, call 1-800-958-9859. Call 1-800-958-9859. 1-800-958-9859.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
As a doctor, I see patients every day who are losing their vision and independence to age-related macular degeneration, also known as AMD. It's the leading cause of blindness in adults 55 and older. Some of us are at greater risk for AMD. If you have blurry vision or blind spots, they can be symptoms of AMD. If left untreated, it can lead to blindness. The good news? With early detection, AMD can be managed with effective clinically approved treatments that can reduce or even reverse some vision loss. Learning that you have AMD can be scary, but there's hope and help. The Foundation Fighting Blindness is researching and developing treatments and cures for AMD. To get your free AMD information packet, contact the Foundation Fighting Blindness today at 1-800-BLINDNESS. That's 1-800-BLINDNESS. Join the fight against AMD, because together there is a cure in sight.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851. 800-823-3851.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller is with us, and Al in Missouri is on the line, and he asked about this carbon material called shungite. And Rick, it's been used since the early 18th century as a medical treatment, and so you're absolutely right. Please continue, Rick.
Well, I don't know where else to go with this except that it is a double-edged sword, and what it is a new form of carbon that will normally bond with itself and form flat sheets of carbon. And now we have a nanofiber that is literally made from pure carbon that is stronger by 100 times that of diamond. Now, I don't think this is, in fact, the same material I discovered or examined as an artifact at the University of Chicago in 1977. I don't know that. However, what I do know is it is very similar. It is not acting like an electrophoresis, so this is a natural form of carbon. My guess is that this will lead us to technologies where we will have a series of periodic charts, plural, that are like holograms, one increasing in information going from one to another. We already have that on various phases of water, and there are different forms of it. Now we're discovering it with carbon. And so I'm going to guess it's with all elements, like silver. Silver acts differently when it's in monoatomic form to be distinguished from colloidal form. And I'm going to guess that our technologies are going to suggest that instead of having a periodic chart, we have a number of periodic charts, plural. Mendeleev. And Mendeleev. I'm not knowledgeable enough in this area yet, but I am beginning to understand that when water or silver is in certain forms, it behaves quite differently than in other forms. And this is the same thing with carbon.
Now, little pieces of this shungite.
I can't hear you at all.
Little pieces of shungite. Do they?
You're going to have to repeat that to Vincent,
right.
And then have Vincent.
Al, say it. Can you try speaking up a little bit, Al?
It is in him. He's so very down there that there's no way I'm going to be able to hear it, even if he yells.
Okay.
Okay. Try it again, Al.
Shungite, little pieces of it, can they attenuate? They attenuate RF energy and make it spin positively. I don't want to make a bomb. I want to use shungite beneficially.
I'm going to say that using shungite will probably help bioremediate the aluminum, barium, and possibly lithium out of your body. Yes. I currently use motofilin, which is an extract from brown algae. I also use curcumin 95, which has turmeric. And that's been helping me. But I have to tell you, everybody here is getting sick because of what's going on in the atmosphere. And I am noticing the chemtrail cough that Vincent had last month present in a lot of people. It seems to be genome specific. And so I don't understand that part yet.
Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you so much, Al.
I have that article. If you will send me an email, I'd be honored, any of you that are listening would like to see the article in Nexus magazine. By the way, I think Nexus, I'm going to be at their next conference delivering the non-local mind. And I have made a breakthrough in some of that area, and I'm right down to the second to the last chapter. The last chapter will be on cold fusion, titled Rock the Casimir, or Adventures in Time Travel. And that is where we are about to go with Nibiru. Nibiru can be metaphorically seen as right and left brain. In our solar system, we're a binary, as most star systems are, and most likely the reason the infrared signature on this brown dwarf is because it has possibly an artifact around it called a Dyson sphere. A Dyson sphere is a elaborated concept of shungite surrounding the sun. In other words, it's using their sun as a total source of energy and as a closed system in a cavitation ball.
Al, it was a great question. Anything else you'd like to ask Dr. Richard Allen Miller?
I want to thank you both for your time and your help and your information.
Good luck,
Great,
and buyer beware. When you buy your shungite, there are lots of sources selling it. Make sure by keeping a diary, because you will know if it's right, because it will absolutely have effects on your body that you cannot miss.
CosmicReality.net has much info, and I'm doing lots of homework, and I will be buyer beware when I do buy.
Okay, good for you, and keep me informed of what you discover. Thank you.
Yes, thank you too, both of you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Al. Great call, Rick. Great call. I'm so glad he was in class today.
Well, it's opening doors to a variety of new things that are about to happen. And we are, in a metaphorically sense, at the end of days because we believe we are. Imagination is reality. It's not my physics. My physics is arbitrary. In fact, it might be, to some people, considered a detriment because it's not any more real than anything else is. Art is another form. There are many different forms to try to come toward yourself. And that's essentially where I'm coming from. trying to discover who I am and, what I can do as part of a contribution to the greatness of man. We are blessed, and literally, I am very, very lucky for the friends and the trust and the other kinds of things that I seem to be garnering now, and it's just been incredible. Thank you. And I'll try to do the best I can in understanding what I understand within myself, and then good luck in the metaphor of me trying to explain it to you. But basically, carbon has a structure to it that will allow it to bond to itself. It's one of the few that does that. And as such, it forms flat plates of one molecule thick. There it is, going across the board in carbon. Atom thick, excuse me. And when carbon bonds with itself, in certain situations, the geometry will allow it to form a ball. And when it forms that ball, that is what Buckminster Fuller discovered. That is a book that I have right now preparing for press called the Marshall Papers, and the work I did with Buckminster Fuller. That translation of Marshall's work led to the vector equilibrium matrix. It is a specific design where there are 3 points forming a triangle, and the center of that is an anomaly. It can't exist. And that's what the mathematics show or develop out of that. This will later be used in what we call an open system, allowing the concept of cold fusion, where we have as much energy in a single point as we choose to, because it is a multiverse with most of the universes collapsed down into singularities. And basically it'll be a form of not string theory, but it'll come out as a knot theory, K-N-O-T, the way you tie certain kinds of knots and the behavior that they exhibit.
Class, if you'd like to call in and ask your questions of Dr. Richard Allen Miller, we'll pay for the call, 866-582-9933, 866-582-9933.
For the record, I'm now being in touch with real scientists, and it's a pleasure because there's a tremendous amount of exchange going on in what we understand going on in this universe right now. And it's leading me towards some very exciting conclusions, like what death is and what it is not. When my little girl died in my arms, I had no idea how to respond to her. She was frightened and wanted to know what was going to happen. Many of you will be at that moment. Realize that the way I explained it to her is a metaphor of most likely what's going to happen. I said that to Michelle, your impatience, you probably are going to be pissed that you woke up before I did. Well, that's what she did.
Mark in Missouri.
And died.
Mark in Missouri, you're on with Dr. Richard Allen Miller.
Yeah, good morning, guys. The Word of God, if you read 1 Corinthians chapter 15, the Word of God it's a mystery, but it says that we're the sons of God and that we were with Jesus before he created the heavens and the earth, and we were beings of light. And
there's something else going on. There's no question that this has got to be the blackest of the black hole compared to the other end, which might be the white hole or Nibiru. Your past and your future. And that I don't know anybody on this earth that didn't have pre-trauma before memory. That's what made us all neurotic and in this location or point of space-time. Cancer is always superseded by anger. And your body, from an imaginal psychology point of view, it would suggest that illnesses are the way your future is trying to communicate to your present in changing your past. So like a cavitation.
I believe that if you change yourself, you'll change the future. But that word Kashmir, that means keeper of secrets, but the other part of that word is called Kashdim, and Kashdim means the star that appeared to the wise men that they follow where Jesus was born.
Well, we were right, actually, yes, and I'm referring to Casimir effect, which is something that John Hutchinson's others have discussed and now are being studied at MIT as a portion of cavitation processes, where it's a topological point in space that Roger Penrose wrote deeply about in his mathematical universe.
Well, I had a question for you. Do you remember the USS Thresher nuclear submarine?
Yes.
Well, that was sunk by the Russians. That was the first casualty of the Russian scalar energetics. The USS Skylark was above trying to do a retrieval with an extraction team of Navy SEALs, but all of their power went out too. And the USS...
Hold that thought. Hold that thought. We'll be right back.
Exercise and deep breathing gets oxygen into the blood but does not guarantee you get oxygen into your 372 trillion cells. Largely, the essential fatty acids, alpha-linolenic and linoleic acids, control oxygen transfer from the blood to the cells. These essential fatty acids are called essential because they must be obtained from the diet on a regular basis. Many people are aware of the value of supplementing with flax or hemp seed oil. What most people don't know is that due to current methods of pressing, all these oils are significantly damaged and oxidized by the time you consume them. What everyone needs to know is that there are new seed oils on the market that are pressed in a manner that protects the oils from damage and oxidation. Even athletes get cancer, which means that despite their abundant oxygen uptake into the blood, the transfer of oxygen into the cells is not occurring. I invite you to try the Andreas seed oils and see for yourself what a difference you can feel in energy, reduction of appetite, and well-being. Call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com. That's sacredseedoils.com.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pileski of the Pileski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products, most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey Guy at GoBerkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey Guy.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. Why would you go anywhere else? KD offers rifle threat-rated armor up to level 4 and now introducing trauma pads. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free water filter for a limited time with any body armor package. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI armor.com. Come and take it.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, a place for mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
Dr. Richard Allen Miller's with us, and Mark from Missouri was talking about the USS Thresher. And class, the Thresher was the fastest nuclear attack submarine of the 1960s, as I remember it. And Rick, please tell us your thoughts on the Thresher.
Well, I don't know much about that. This was after my time in the military. At the time I was in high school, we had the first nuclear-powered submarine, and today, in 2016, we now have supercavitation, where we have objects in the water that can travel 3 times the speed of sound. Did you know that we have that technology now?
I just started reading about supercavitation. I'm trying to understand it. But
what they do is they create a ball of air in front of the torpedo. That's the way the Chinese do it. They create a ball of air in front of the torpedo so that the torpedo is not moving in water. It is moving in air. And the cavitation process is the interface between the one universe and the other, where there is a topological surface, and so the torpedo is falling, not being driven.
Mark, did you have another
now
thought?
They're doing that with larger objects. There is some that believed that the Challenger experiment was that they were trying to create a cavitation ball around the Challenger so that it could break orbit quicker. Blew up.
Yeah, I believe that the Russians took out the Challenger with the scalar energetics. They took out 2 of our space shuttles, but the USS Thresher was the first casualty of Russian scalar energetics in the 1960s.
Yeah, and it's important to realize it wasn't actually Russian. It was actually Czechoslovakian, Czech technology. The Czechs were way above the Americans back in the studies that I was doing. And by the way, for Joey et al., and I sent to you, Vincent, a correction and dates when things started happening. Remote viewing did not happen in the 70s. It happened in the early 80s at SRI with Targ and Puthoff. And Targ and Puthoff were not at SRI in the 70s. FYI.
Yeah, I've been trying to get in touch.
Well, I'm noticing a lot of misconstruing and statements of when something happened, and I was there. And so, it was Shirley MacLaine not on a limb. It was astral projection until the 80s. Remote viewing is quite dangerous, and if anybody, it's so dangerous that I'm surprised they would even try to use it in military, because it has nothing to do with us. It has something to do with something else, and that consciousness, and the way it's looking at you. And what you're doing is glimpsing little bits of what it sees. And that's what remote viewing is. It's part of PK phenomena, and as such, the observer, not you, is changing you. That's different than soul making, FYI. And if you want, there are people that write about this that are, Kavarainen, Alex Kavarainen is a genius, and he's dead now, was from Finland. And his student under him, what's his name? It doesn't matter. They are all writing in like Emergent Mind Bulletin. Now, that's a Russian journal that I participated in with Leon Sidorov, who was originally the editor of that. And you can find that online, Emergent Mind Bulletin. That's some of the old stuff, and that will historically put things back in true perspective when things were happening and when they were not. Supercavitation is a brand new discovery that is different than cavitation processes.
Mark, I want to thank you for your call. And after top of the hour news and commercial announcements, I'd like to talk with Rick about technology. And is technology damaging our ability to think and be creative? Apple has sold over 1 billion iPhones since 2007. 1 billion iPhones. And you see people walking around everywhere with them. Dr. Richard Allen Miller and I'll be right back after these few short commercial announcements and top of the hour news. This is USAPrepares.com. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Hour number 2 of USA Prepares with Dr. Richard Allen Miller. If you'd like to call in and chat with Dr. Richard Allen Miller, ask him your questions, we'll pay for the call. 866-582-9933. 866-582-9933. Rick, Janet Randall, who we know from the Springfield, Missouri area, sent you and me a copy of the F.W. Woolworth Company menu from 1957. And when you talk about inflation, here it is, class. You could buy a king-size Coca-Cola. Now, F.W. Woolworth was called a 5 and dime or a 5 and 10 cent store. And they were very popular in the 1940s, 50s, 60s. And then I think they just disappeared. But you could buy a king-size Coke for 10 cents. And so you go into this store that had all kinds of things, sewing materials and scissors and many things that a family might need. And you could have lunch there. So you could have a Coke for a king-size for 10 cents, apple pie, 15 cents. You could have a malted milk for 25 cents. You could have a bacon and tomato sandwich, a 3-decker sandwich for 50 cents. That was pretty expensive. If you wanted to have a ham salad sandwich, that was only 30 cents. Egg salad sandwich was 30 cents.
In Grants Pass right now, the Grants Pass Pharmacy is serving up what we call phosphates for 25 cents.
And what are they?
Well, instead of using carbon dioxide, they use phosphorus. And it was a phosphate as opposed to a soda. Instead of using sodium, they used potassium. Excuse me.
And what is your thought about? What is your thought about that? What is your thought about that?
They're different. Of course, potassium is more important than sodium because it's the potassium that gets converted into salts in your body, or sodium. And so you want to eat things that have lots of potassium in them, and phosphates were part of that original change. And it was Coca-Cola that changed from using cocaine to caffeine, and now I have no idea what speed they're putting in there to make everything sugar. But it's different today, and our diets today are quite different than what they used to be. And so is the money. It doesn't even mean anything anymore. When David Morgan came down to meet me, the first thing he did, he handed me a gift. He gave me a $1953 bill. And he said, "This is a real $1 bill." That's the last time we had a real dollar bill, based on, gold and Fort Knox and all the rest of it. We have been hijacked by a bunch of criminals. And I'm talking about, that's why the Republican and Democratic parties are in shambles right now. And it's time that every person say so, that this is no longer the country we served and protected. And I've been duped.
No disagreement from me. No disagreement from me. I'm looking forward to never re-electing anyone. I'm looking forward to...
to have to go to vote because you're voting against someone, not for someone. What is wrong with that?
It's been like that a long time, Rick.
It's not a choice.
It really is.
That's the lesser of two evils. That even isn't even healthy to think of our country like that. It is a disgrace. And it's
Rick, remember,
so obvious now to everybody that they don't even care because it's a fait accompli. It's a done deal.
Remember when American manufacturing was the envy of the world? I'm talking about...
Yeah, and agriculture. Best buy there was. For dollars spent, you got more bang for your buck. Yeah, that doesn't exist anymore.
You could go to any of the cities in the United States. I'm talking about the early 1900s, and that's where Singer sewing machines were manufactured. You could buy scissors that were manufactured in the cities, and what would happen is people lived in the cities and they worked in the cities at manufacturing plants, and we made the best of the best. We really did.
Snap-on, not just craftsmen.
And then we had banks, and banks were not the centerpiece. Now we have lost we've traded manufacturing for banking. And
we have
General
more
Electric
banks as the nicest buildings in Grants Pass than any other 5 industries, including restaurants.
And they don't make anything.
Yeah, banks dominate.
Banks don't make anything. They rent a concept. They literally rent a concept that they call money. And now they're getting away from physical pieces of paper and tokens, which we call change or coins. These tokens and these pieces of paper are going by the wayside, and we're going to vaporware, which is just digital in the ether, if you will, concepts. And if you don't pay back more than you've borrowed, they will take your real property. When I think of bankers, I think of them with disgust, absolute disgust. There used to be a time when you'd look up to the vice president of a bank, you'd say, that guy really knows how to do something. Now I look at them as con artists. I really do.
My banker is a nice person, and she's in the system, as it were, and the whole thing is corrupt. And they all know it, and are just biding time for when it hits that brick wall. Now, I think the only thing that silver is good for in your go box is, or go bag, is as a antibiotic substitute. That's what you use silver for. I don't get it. What's real is labor. That when you do something, that has value.
You know, one of the things that American business has learned, and it's a corrupt concept in my mind, is to keep the labor force destabilized. What I mean by that is that the operators of large businesses, and you can call it even Walmart, they keep their employees unstable, afraid of losing their jobs. So they are so afraid of losing their jobs because where are they going to get another one to replace the miserable job that they have, that they are willing to do whatever the boss tells them.
That's
and the
what
boss is
made
going to say,
Japan climb on so quickly, was that they had loyalty of tenure. And it wasn't about who could do it better.
That's Rick. See, that's the problem. When you worked in the 1960s, maybe even the 70s, I'm certain that you were loyal to your employer because you thought that's what we were taught. We were taught that we were to be loyal. We were to do the very best we can, go above and beyond. And even, if we worked more hours than was on the list for us to work, well, we didn't ask for, hey, you owe me because we worked another hour, another half hour, or 2 hours. We just did it because it was the right thing to do, and we were playing for the team. We were team players, and we were trying to do the best we could for our team, our company, and we were loyal. But companies now have shown us over the last couple of decades there is no loyalty. They'll throw us overboard at the drop of a hat. And what corporations now do, I believe corporations are in business to provide the CEO an enormous compensation, as well as an enormous compensation package. And they are also in business to provide some of the shareholders a return. That's it. That's it. As far as the rest of us, as far as the product is concerned, that's secondary to everything else they do. Tom in Baltimore, welcome. You're on with Dr. Richard Allen Miller.
Hi, great show, guys. I wanted to ask the doctor a question about money. And by the way, Vince, you're absolutely right there. It used to be, I guess, a belief in honor and what we were doing as a nation. And I think so many unethical and illegal things have been shown to us that we naturally lost faith in those acting on behalf of government or in the name of government. And naturally, we're going to draw back from that and feel a separation. So that's a good point you bring up. But
no taxation without representation. Don't tread on me.
Yeah, there's another point, Tom. That is, when I was a teenager, there was Sears Roebuck and Company, which is now referred to, I guess, as Sears.
It started in Seattle, down on 4th Street. I remember it.
Well, Sears used to have good, better, best. They on the side of the building there was a sign that when you entered the entrance to the building, it would say "Satisfaction guaranteed" or your money back. Well, I used to work for Sears, and I was taught by the foreman. I worked in the automotive department, fixing mufflers and brakes and exhaust systems and that kind of thing, and batteries, and I was taught, may the job be big or small, do it right or not at all. And I was all for the company because we had some of the best products available at the time, and I was really loyal to Sears. But however, I'm not loyal to Sears anymore because they have changed. As a customer, I am no longer loyal to Sears. As a matter of fact, I don't even shop there. And the reason is because they have dropped the satisfaction guarantee to your money back. They've dropped that. And I was told by the store manager in a Sears that they don't work for the customer anymore. He told me, no, that's not what we do. We work for the shareholders. We work to keep the share price high. That's what we are in business for. We're not here for you as a customer. So if they're not there for me as a customer, why in heaven's name would I be loyal to them? I'm not.
Well, it used to be that things were sold two ways. You had a choice. You could either do cheapest or Best Buy. And that's what made America proud, is that we put more effort into what we made, and it was a better buy. Snap-on, Craftsman, and downhill from there. Now it's Harbor Freight, and the rest of it is all different, cheapest with different brand names. Walmart, other kinds of faces on it, Fred Meyer, whatever. Ace Hardware. Most everything now comes from China. And
Tom in Baltimore,
gross natural product.
Tom in Baltimore, would you like to hold the line, because I know you had a lot to say, and we kind of took over. So please hold the line. And Jason in Texas, you're up after Tom. This is USA Prepares. 866-582-9933. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I've found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you could move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? In these days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
Did you know that a dirty CPAP system can make you sick? If you knew what could be growing in your mask and hose, you might not sleep so well. But now, SoClean.com has released the world's first and only automated CPAP cleaner and sanitizer. It kills 99.9% of all CPAP germs, and it's completely hands-free. For a limited time, you can try SoClean risk-free for 30 days. Just call 1-800-952-2797.
SoClean changed the CPAP experience for the better. My health has improved. It's simple to use, and I'm not worried about infections.
SoClean destroys CPAP bacteria, viruses, and germs, and it eliminates the daily hassle of washing your system by hand. There's no water, chemicals, or disassembly. Just pop in your mask, close the lid, and presto! Your CPAP system is clean and fresh in minutes. Call SoClean.com to try it risk-free at home for 30 days. This is a limited time offer, only available by calling 1-800-952-2797. That's 1-800-952-2797.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson Adam Pulaski of the Pulaski Law Firm with principal office in Houston, Texas is the attorney responsible for the content of this ad. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisement. Services may not be available in all states. Attention Xarelto users. If you or a loved one took Xarelto and suffered a serious bleeding event, you may be entitled to financial compensation. Xarelto is a popular prescription blood thinner used to prevent blood clots and protect patients from strokes. These serious bleeding events have led to numerous cases of hospitalization and even death. Phone lines are open 24/7. Call 800-261-0937. That's 800-261-0937.
Quick diversion class. I'm at netc.com, and there are exactly 10 Radcon 4 alerts. 10 Radcon 4 alerts. The United States is lit up like a Christmas tree. Looks like every state has radiation warnings, at least level 1. through Radcon 4. I don't see any Radcon 5s during the remaining part of this broadcast. Maybe in the next 15 minutes or so, we'll get to where those Radcon 4 alerts are. Tom in Baltimore, please continue.
Yes, sir. Mr. Finelli, you brought to mind a quote, and I was lucky enough to find it on my computer, from Noah Webster, talking about when you were opining on the state of affairs that we're in. He said, the moral principles and precepts contained in the scriptures ought to form the basis of all our civil constitutions and laws. All the miseries and evils which men suffer from vice, crime, ambition, injustice, oppression, slavery, and war proceed from their despising or neglecting the precepts contained in the Bible. I think that really says it all for me.
Sure. Okay, Rick. Did you have a comment, Rick?
What's that?
Did you have a comment?
No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to just let it all
I've been watching. Okay, I've been watching a series on Netflix, and I call it Politicians, Parasites, Perverts, Pedophiles, and Prostitutes. It's a documentary. It's a documentary on the White House. It's a documentary on the White House. It's about the evils. It's about the greed. It's about the me first. It's called Scandal. I call it Politicians, Parasites, Perverts, Pedophiles, and Prostitutes. It is absolutely disgusting. And class, if you happen to watch, it's called Scandal. If you happen to watch that, you will see how these people, it's fiction, but I consider it a documentary. You will see how evil these people are, and whatever they have to do, whatever lies they have to tell at the White House, whatever the White House press secretary believes that he or she needs to say in order to lie and con and cheat and mislead us, they do. And it's about this individual greed in me first. And when you watch this, you will be disgusted at what you see. But it's necessary to watch it because I believe it's a documentary on how corrupt our system is.
Indeed. And
Tom, have you seen it?
No, I haven't, but it ties in, and it gives me a perfect segue to my question. It is so corrupt. You know, the IRS and U.S. and 31 U.S.C., the law clearly says that they're a private corporation. Now, that dates back to when the Magna Carta when King John was forced to sign the Magna Carta because Rome was unlawfully taxing the people over there. So we're being taxed again by a foreign corporation. And the money issue, by the way, and this is my question for Dr. Shealy, they've never redefined what a dollar is, right? I mean, it's still by law 371.25 grains of pure silver. So aren't they counterfeiting with these Federal Reserve notes? I mean, they're not even good for redeeming gold anymore. So they're not lawful money. They're counterfeit.
Well, sure they are. And there are places now, companies that will only accept digital transactions. So, for example, if you wanted to buy from them with the frauds, and that's what I would call them, the FRAUD, Federal Reserve Accounting Unit dollars, frauds, if you wanted to actually carry some of those green pieces of paper in there and buy from these companies, they won't sell to you because they only take electronic frauds.
They're debt instruments, and, you know, even the Federal Reserve states what money is. They say a promise to pay can be currency. Well, boy, that really puts a spin on things. I can just write a note. I mean, the law, when you actually drill down and read it, you can see how bizarre policies and actions by the government are really usurping the power from the people and using us. Back to usury again.
That's what this Trump phenomenon is about, I believe. I believe that people have had it. They're so angry that they're lashing out, and they are looking for someone who is going to just turn this thing on its end, get rid of all the corruption. And, I would personally like to see 75% of the jobs in government eliminated, 75%. And I think that would be a really good start. Tom, thank you so much for being with us today. Jason in Texas and Dan in Missouri, you're up next.
So you've got to take a state construction license exam or certification. Can't decide on what books or what chapters to study? Discover right now how you can eliminate unnecessary books and wasted study time. At contractorexam.com, our study materials zero in on state-required test topics in an effective, multiple-choice format. So whether you're a plumber, electrician, general contractor, or other construction-related trade, contractorexam.com will help get you prepared. Visit us at www.contractorexam.com today. Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size for incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency. Get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to mypillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's mypillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination of garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite is designed to strengthen the heart and arteries and help the body heal itself. Doctors are not able to explain the improvements they are seeing in their patients' health who are taking Extendivite. People who once needed more pills are now taking less and getting better. Due to the unexplainable improvements in their patients' health, more doctors are calling to order Extendivite for themselves. Help Extendivite make your doctor a believer. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Are you worried about your mom or dad living alone in their house? Hi, I'm Joan London. Listen, I know how difficult it is to find senior care for someone you love. That's why I recommend a free service called A Place for Mom. They are the nation's largest senior living referral service. Call A Place for Mom today.
To receive free information on senior living communities in your area, call A Place for Mom at 1-800-704-6182.
A Place for Mom offers free one-on-one advice from local advisors and a personalized list of senior living communities you can visit. If you have questions about senior care for your mom or dad, there's a place for answers, A Place for Mom.
Call A Place for Mom in the next 10 minutes to get your free ebook on financing senior care as well as free information on senior living communities in your area. Call 1-800-704-6182. That's 1-800-704-6182.
Dangerous blood clot device alert. If you or a loved one had an IVC filter placed to prevent blood clots from traveling to your heart or lungs and suffered an injury, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA warns that IVC filters may cause serious complications, such as heart or lung damage, internal bleeding, and even death. These dangerous blood clot devices can break, and the metal fragments can travel to your heart or lungs, causing serious injuries. If you or a loved loved one suffered organ damage or other injuries from an IVC filter, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. 800-478-1507. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. InjuryHelpDesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Class, if you'd like to go to Dr. Richard Allen Miller's website, docram.com, DOCRAM.com. Rick, I don't know what's going on, but the more angry I get, the more angry our instructors get, the more we vent on the air, the higher our ratings go. And I've told some of our affiliates that, I'm not paying them anymore. I'm not paying any affiliates anymore. Can't do it, won't do it. And more affiliates are signing up with us. I think that's kind of interesting. And by the way, we broke the top 20 on TalkStream Live today in this broadcast. Very interesting to me. So the angrier we get, the higher our ratings. And I think
don't do that. Anger will give you cancer. You don't want
I don't mean it that way. What I mean is these things. We're just venting, and we're just telling people what we see, how we see it, why we see it that way, and so forth. So I think there are a lot of people who are coming out of the woodwork who are agreeing with us and saying, yeah, that I feel the same way too. Jason in Texas, you're on with Dr. Richard Allen Miller. Welcome.
How you guys doing?
We're angry.
Well, I can definitely agree with that. My first topic I want to discuss with you and Mr. Miller would be chemtrails. There was recently a video I watched, well, it's really an audio on YouTube, and it was discussing, there was a lady, I guess, that called. I'm not even sure who she called, but she had it recorded and talking about how they sprayed lithium at nighttime. And I can't remember what the other was during the day, but I was going to ask you guys, what would be the dangers of the lithium? And, like, sometimes in the middle of the night, I'll go outside and sit on the back porch and stuff like that. I'm down here in Houston. I noticed, like, in the middle of the night and in the early mornings, if I go sit outside and I'm outside for maybe longer than a minute or two, my nose gets really stopped up and I can't breathe. But, however, if I go in the middle of the day, it doesn't really seem to do that as much. But, I mean, literally in the middle of the night or like in the early morning hours, I noticed that, like I said, I'm out there for 30 seconds to a minute and I can barely breathe. I got to go inside and blow my nose and do all that stuff.
Okay, well, one suggestion is that you get one of those nasal sprays, which is a saline solution. That's what I do. And I will spray each nostril and then I'll blow my nose. And I'll do that. And right after the broadcast, I'm going out on the tractor. And what am I going to wear? I'm going to wear a respirator. I am not kidding.
The problem is that respirator is not going to filter what's in the air, because what's in the air right now is in nanometer form, and it'll pass right through anything. So,
well, Rick,
you can't even filter it anymore.
Well, I have no.
You asked about
no
lithium.
choice.
Yeah, you asked about lithium. You can tell when it's lithium because it deploys into the atmosphere and water much differently than barium or aluminum. And it will cause a swirling, purling type of look off the chemtrail line that's created. We have not had chemtrails in Southern Oregon in maybe a full week, and every day, and yet it's still there. So they're either got a different way of deploying, or they're doing what you said, doing it at night when we don't notice. When I was down in Mexico City and Puebla, I noticed that that's where they are deploying all the chemtrails down in Mexico, is at night, so that the people don't even notice them, and then the skies during the day are the normal creepy clouds that they think are real, that are not.
Right, right. And
that part, by the way, is your recycling of aluminum cans. None of the aluminum cans are going back into recycling anymore. They're going into the atmosphere. That whole program is corrupt.
Jason, I believe that I have succumbed to the chemtrail spraying, and so has my mother, and so has my wife, and actually every member of our family. And we've been coughing, and I've been experimenting with a couple things. Apple cider vinegar with mother every day, one tablespoon. and also with super silver. And I'm going to give you a report as to what my findings are with super silver. If it works on me and my mother and my wife, I'm going to tell you. If it doesn't work, I'm going to tell you. And if it does work, we're going to carry it, and we'll make it available to our class. If it doesn't, I'm not going to. So it's as simple as that. I'm very concerned. I had surgery as a result of it. You know, most of our class knows that, and I'm annoyed. I didn't have to have this surgery, except that these guys have been spraying to the point where I coughed my intestines out of my stomach. And I'm angry about it because it's cost thousands and thousands of dollars. It's put me down for, it's probably going to take a half a year out of my life where I've been an unproductive farmer. And all I've been able to do is what your typical government thug bureau rat does, just administrate. All I can do is just give advice and counsel to the farm. I haven't been able to be productive, you know, as a real member of the farming family. And all I can do is get behind the microphone and talk for a couple hours and then collapse. I've had it. I mean, I am just livid with what has happened with these chemtrails. And you are absolutely right, Jason. These things are dangerous, and they want to kill us. And as soon as we find out who they are, I have a feeling that there will be some rioting. I have a feeling that there will be some vengeance.
It's the United Nations project. The primary.
Yeah, I dare anyone who's involved with the chemical spraying of our skies to wear a button on his or her shirt or coat that says, "I'm a proud killer of society. I am involved in chemtrail mass murder." I'd like to see that, because
coming forward now.
Yeah, I know that, because that would be a target on their chest, literally, and they don't have the guts to do it. They are doing it in secret because they know the crimes that they are committing, the highest crimes ever. What is a greater crime than spraying the planet with toxins? What is greater than that? I can't think of a single thing.
I think you're right.
And these people should be held accountable. And their wives, ladies, if you've got one of these thugs in your house that's killing your children and your parents and you, dump them. Divorce these people. These people are evil. Absolutely evil. Jason, anything else?
Yes, I wanted to ask Mr. Miller too, or either one of you guys might know. In the middle of the night, I notice when I go out, well, not in the middle of the night, I'd say like around 11 p.m. or so, and I go to look at the moon, you'll see the haze. And like I said, in the early morning hours, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, go outside, the haze will be like on ground level. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're seeing the particulate in the atmosphere.
Yes.
That is going into the soil and into your body. Yes,
sir. Now, how can you tell at nighttime if it's lithium or not? I mean, because you can't really see. I mean, I can see.
You can't unless you can actually see the pearling. That's what I have discovered. I don't have a test yet. At some point, there might be something like a litmus paper or something that can tell you the pH or what's going on to determine this. Right now, I don't know. And so, and I'm not sure. What I'm using is modafinil and turmerics. And they seem to be helping me. My panels on aluminum and barium are down since I've started using those. I've actually gone for blood tests. I'm going for another one next week. And I do that regularly now, testing my blood to see what's in it and what's not in it anymore.
And you need to stay hydrated.
I know that my doctor doesn't know. And why is that? My doctor should be the one on it, like I'm on physics.
Well,
Jason, we got to run.
Okay.
We've got to run. We've got another caller on hold. But thanks so much for your call.
Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
You bet.
Bye-bye.
Dan in Missouri, you're on with Dr. Richard Allen Miller.
Hey, guys. I almost feel guilty calling in. I wanted to refer back to a show you did a day or two ago when you was talking about your oil and the procedure you go through to make sure you keep clean oil in your Mercedes.
Mm-hmm. That's a long time ago. That wasn't a couple days ago. That was a couple of months ago.
No, he's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's talking about Ricky's talking about a broadcast I did with Mike Parsons.
I'm sorry. Okay.
That was Tuesday. Yeah, go ahead, Dan.
Okay. Well, I've really enjoyed what you've been talking about, and I just finally had the chance to get in, so I thought I would. What if you could keep clean oil in your car all the time?
You can.
You're talking about?
I use that in my 280Z. I do change my oil, but I don't change it every 3,000 miles because it's not necessary anymore. Of course, the oil also, it's Redline. I use Redline in my 280Z. I don't do that in my truck. I use a normal 30 weight in my truck because it's, Ford engine and whatever. But what I have with my 280Z, which now has 300,000 miles on the engine, and yet the port pressures are within a quarter of a pound each in balance. And so I use Redline oil. Well, Dan, it's about $10 a quart, but then you never need to change it either. Doesn't break down, doesn't form gum.
Are you talking about a centrifuge? Are you talking about using a centrifuge type filter, a spinner type filter?
No, I'm not aware of that, but I'm talking about a filter that I ended up putting on an old Chevy I had years ago, and it used a roll of 2-ply facial quality toilet paper for the elements.
Yeah,
right. Those are the old
J.C. Whitney.
Yeah.
J.C. Whitney used to sell those, and they were called a bypass filter. And what you did was
that's correct.
And what you did was you bought this canister and a couple oil lines in and out. And what would happen is some of the oil, because of the amount of the restriction of filtering with this roll of toilet paper, you couldn't filter all the oil that the engine needed. So you'd filter a small percentage of it. But the theory was that eventually you would filter it all. The
reason
current
you
logic
needed to filter it is because the oil would break down to sludge when it was exposed to temperatures over 170 degrees. Today, they now are synthesizing the oil from jojoba and other kinds of bean plants that are what are called synthetic oils that were actually used in the rocket program, where we were talking about 3,000 degree Fahrenheit temperatures, and the oil does not form sludge at those temperatures. And that's called a synthetic oil. And you started with Castrol's, and then I moved up into Redline oil. And that's what
Dan, hold that thought. Dan, hold that thought. You want to stay with us through the break?
Sure.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Today, I became a biophoton woman. I put a tablespoon of the Andreas 5-seed oil in my morning's One World Way drink and was still happy and energized at 3 p.m. Normally, I feel tired and spacey at the end of the day, but today I felt energy and very clear. My friend at the farmer's market asked what I was on. She said my eyes looked bright and I had unusual energy for that time of afternoon. I told her there was a magical oil that enabled my body to absorb the sun's energy as if I were a plant. She said, I want some. A second One World Way shake with the oil when I got home took me to bedtime with that wonderful, abundant energy. I couldn't believe how much I got done and how great I felt. The combination of One World Way and 5-seed oil produced a significant health event in my life, the kind that makes you feel you've been given your life back with a bonus, and I'm 64.
5-seed oil in One World Way. For your fantastic health, call 888-988-3325 or visit sacredseedoils.com.
Worried about lead, fluoride, and other contaminants in your drinking water? Get a ProPure with the Pro 1G 2.0 cleanable reusable filter and remove up to 200 contaminants. Drink water the way nature meant it to be. Clean, crisp, and refreshing. See the complete line of ProPure products, including the new ProMax shower filter. There's a ProPure for you. Visit your authorized ProPure dealer for details or ProPureUSA.com. That's ProPureUSA.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
This is a healthcare alert from the Pain Relief Hotline.
If you, a family member, or a loved one suffers from knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain and have Medicare as your primary insurance, we've got great news. You don't have to suffer any longer. You can immediately qualify for a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you by calling our 24/7 pain relief hotline at 866-389-0620. Delivery is free and all paperwork is handled for you. If you are on Medicare and have knee, back, shoulder, or ankle pain, don't wait. You can qualify to immediately receive a pain-relieving brace at little or no cost by calling our 24/7 pain hotline now at 866-389-0620. Our representatives are standing by 24/7 to take your call and rush you your pain-relieving brace at little or no cost to you. Shipping is free and all paperwork is handled for you. Just call 866-389-0620. That's 866-389-0620. Again, 866-389-0620.
Attention USA Prepares listeners. When you're on the road or have limited data or Wi-Fi, now you can listen to USA Prepares unfiltered and untapped at no extra charge on this non-federal phone number, 1-605-477-3249. Try it now to listen to USA Prepares 24/7 at no extra cost or data charges. These are not on federal lines. These are lines located on Indian reservations off the grid. Call 1-605-477-3249. No smartphones or internet needed. To hear USA Prepares untapped and off the grid, just call 1-605-477-3249.
Paid non-attorney spokesperson. Injury Help Desk is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada. This ad is not legal advice, and the choice of a lawyer should not be based solely upon advertisements. Services may not be available in all states. Attention prescription antibiotic drug users. Have you or a loved one suffered an aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm after taking the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox? These popular antibiotic drugs have been prescribed more than 80 million times since 2004, and medical studies show an increased risk of the following injuries: aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, and abdominal aortic aneurysm. If you or a loved one used the prescription antibiotic drugs Levaquin or Avelox and suffered from aortic dissection, aortic aneurysm, or abdominal aortic aneurysm, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. You may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851, 800-823-3851. Are your Google search results killing you? Unflattering content in blogs, news articles, online reviews, social media, or other sources can jeopardize your reputation, your business, and your livelihood. Let Reputation.com help. Our patented technology will make the truth about you more visible while pushing down unwanted negative content. Improve your Google search results. Call Reputation.com at 1-800-831-0771 for a free consultation. That's 800-831-0771.
Class Dan is called in from Missouri. And Dan, my mom back in the 70s had a 1970 Fiat 850 Spider. It was a convertible, two-door, 850cc little sports car. And it had a centrifugal oil filter. And what happened was the oil would travel through the crankshaft of the engine and reached the end of the crankshaft where there was a large, looked like a pulley. And in this, maybe 5-inch diameter pulley was a cavity that the oil would be slung against the outside walls of the cavity in a centrifuge type fashion. And that was the oil filter. And every, 20,000 miles, you would take off these few small bolts, take a screwdriver and clean out this sludge that was in there, and it worked brilliantly. And of course, that could happen today. All the manufacturers could do that, but then we wouldn't sell oil filters. We wouldn't sell these disposable oil filters that are filling up and clogging our landfills. But yes, you can do it. And they made a filter for these large tractor-trailer trucks, which was called a spinner oil filter, and it used the oil pressure from the oil pump of the engine to spin a centrifuge, and it would do the same thing that the Fiat engine did, except it would do it externally to the engine rather than internally. So, and you're talking about this thing that J.C. Whitney sold back in the 1960s and 70s, maybe even the 80s, which was just use a roll of toilet paper, which would be a problem today because toilet paper has gotten smaller. The rolls are not as wide as they used to be, and I don't know if they were dependent on a 4.5-inch wide roll or not. But what is your experience, Dan?
Well, back in about 1970, I had a brother-in-law that started selling these things. And I was in El Paso, Texas, and he said, I'm coming down and you're buying one of these oil filters and we'll put it on. It's going to cost you $35. Well, in 1970, that was a lot of money for an oil filter. And he brought it down and gave me the sales pitch, and the brand name was Franz, F-R-A-N-T-Z.
Right.
Franz oil filter. And he wasn't selling them through J.C. Whitney. Of course, they might have carried that brand. I don't know. Or one of their own.
They did.
Anyway, I had an old Chevy 2 6-cylinder engine, 230 6-cylinder engine, and it had about 80,000 miles on it, which at that time, it was a 66 Chevy, and 80,000 miles was about the life of most engines in that era. That was my experience. And I thought, well, all right, I'll put it on because I could move it to another car if I needed to. And you're right, it was a bypass filter. And the instructions were every 2,000 miles you change the toilet paper and top off about a half a quart, which was absorbed by the paper. And they said there was no need to change your oil because oil never loses its lubricity. It just gets so contaminated, you have to dispose of it for the well-being of the engine. And I believed it, and at 170,000 miles of never changing the oil fully, my dad came to visit me, and all the gaskets on the engine were leaking, except the head gasket. So we changed the oil pan gasket, the timing chain cover gasket, the side cover gaskets, there's 2 of those on that straight 6, and the rocker arm cover gasket. We changed all those gaskets, and when we dropped the pan, if you've ever overhauled an engine or anybody in your audience has, there's usually a gray sludge that's in the bottom of that pan, and that's your bearings. It's the Babbitt bearings that have wore out. And my dad had been around a lot of automotive shops throughout his younger days, and he had seen a lot of engines rebuilt. And we found about a quarter teaspoon of sludge at 175,000 miles. And he said that's unheard of. He's never seen an engine that clean inside. So the engine lasted 275,000 miles without changing the oil. Because
that's unheard of. That's unheard of for that day.
And these were approved by the FAA for light aircraft use. So, and you can still find them on the internet. Franz oil filter. I think they were made by the Sky Corporation in Stockton,
Dan, thanks so much for being with us and sharing that information. Class, very quickly, Radcon 4, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. Let's see. New York, Buffalo, Cleveland, Ohio, Indianapolis, Indiana, Louisville, Kentucky. Dr. Richard Allen Miller, thanks so much for being with us today. Class, I'm a survivalist, and my plan is to be independent of everything that I can so that supply chain disruptions have a minimum impact on our family. What's the first thing that you do when the power goes out? I've researched the best value solar energy system that I can find, one that's backed by the technical support necessary for the undertaking. The system's installed and is generating electricity right now with equipment purchased from IronEdison.com. You heard Brandon Williams, CEO of IronEdison.com, right here on USA Prepares. Together, we designed our system. In my opinion, our IronEdison.com system has more features, more value, and more potential than any other system I found. We chose the Snyder Electric system with a hybrid inverter, charge controller, power panel, battery disconnect, and the system control panel. If you want energy independence, as we have, please consider calling the engineering team at IronEdison.com, 720-432-6433, 720-432-6433.
Can your vitamin supplements positively affect your blood in 5 minutes? Protovite can. Protovite is a genuine breakthrough liquid daily nutrition that delivers quality ingredients into your blood in less than 5 minutes. Scientifically proven and backed by clinical studies, Protovite supports energy, vitality, and optimal health. Watch our 2-minute live blood cell video and see for yourself at vninc.com/prohealth. That's vninc.com/prohealth.
By now you know that wireless technology like cell phones do in fact pose dangers to the health and privacy of everyone. Block-It Pocket's wide range of products are unmatched in providing the protection you deserve. No scare tactics, just common sense. BlockItPocket.com offers quality American-made options to alleviate and eliminate these invisible dangers. Learn more at BlockItPocket.com or call 888-315-9618. BlockItPocket.com, enhancing health and privacy.